wind and waves, and Jeff Coffin helps recreate a scene.
After our fun evening with Nick, we had a ton of boat chores to do. So what you working on?
Well, this mainsail, as I think we might have mentioned already, I believe is original to the boat in 1974. So that makes it what, 45 years old or something? And it's really, really tired, and I'm really tired of fixing it. Now we've got a new mainsail on order, but until it arrives, I've got to keep this thing going. And to do that, I've got to put repair tape on it and stitch it. And to do the stitching, I'm very happy to have this custom-made sailor's pom made by our pal Bob Peterson.
Okay, while you're working on that, I'll go darn my socks.
Please do. I was going to mention that. I was going to say something about those holes in your socks. So I'm here in Nashville editing this episode. I just wanted to cut in and say that I was looking through the logbook to see all what was happening that day, and I had forgotten. I was on the phone with my father quite a bit. He was wanting help with various bits of paperwork, etc., at his assisted living place, and so I was dealing with that. We were checking the weather, that storm that was crossing out to the east, and we then jumped off. But the day or two after we got back from this whole trip back to New York, I got a call from the hospital where my dad had been taken, and he was non-responsive, and I had better get down there quick and all this sort of thing. And I did get down, and I sat with him and held his hand and talked to him, although he couldn't talk back. And he died the next morning in his sleep, fortunately. And so I just wanted to say, if you still have parents and you still have things that need to be said, don't wait. It sneaks up on you. So, all right, back to the episode.
We had to go southwest to get home, so it would be logical to head for Monhegan. But Brian wanted to go out to Ragged Island to see if he could find a lobster fisherman he once knew named Charlie Stone.
The low pressure rotating south of us and off into the ocean was forecast to turn our predominant southwesterly winds into strong easterlies, which would help us get to Provincetown. And the worst was forecast to be tonight, so we'd sit that out and then go tomorrow.
Right now, though, as we raced the sun out to Ragged Island, we had nothing and had to motor most of the way, but it was beautiful, the calm before the storm. Dinghy right ahead.
We did make it, but just in time for the mosquitoes to pounce. Pretty sure this shot cost me a bunch of welts.
The beautiful little dance the Moon and Venus were doing here gave no hint of the coming weather, which arrived in the middle of the night, as usual.
The dozen or so homes here are predominantly owned by lobster fishermen, and they are a hardy bunch. This is the most remote populated island in Maine, and the homes here have no service, no electricity, no water, no trash pickup, nothing. The simple homes often have a pitcher pump like this one attached to a shallow well. I never did locate my old acquaintance Charlie, so we took our leave of Ragged and headed out into the ocean, itself made ragged now by the strong east wind.
This is your sailing weather here.
No, I'll take sunshine.
This is Maine ocean sailing today.
But it's moving away from us. This is going to moderate. Hopefully not this summer.
I don't think it's going to moderate. This is zero.
I hope you're right. That'll leave behind a sloppy sea with no wind, which is not fun.
looks like only one other boat had the same idea.
It was at this point that the dinghy made a break for freedom. As she tugged and jerked over the choppy seas, a piece broke off, allowing the painter, or tow line, to come free. We were so intent on coming about quickly so as not to lose sight of her that we didn't video the rescue, which consisted of coming up alongside and heaving a small anchor and line in and hoping it caught on the gunnels, which it did, thankfully. I was then able to attach another line to an alternate spot and carry on.
As you can see, we also added a pair of snubbers to take some of the shock load and also lengthened the painter to better position the dinghy in the wave train.
Really, we should have the thing up on deck someplace. That's so heavy. Hard to
Here we've added yet more length to the painter. Good news, old friend, you're retiring after this trip.
But look, the sun is coming out. You're enjoying.
Many a look aft were had to keep an eye on Where's Andy. That was nice of that wave not to break over us this time.
Oh, jeez.
Its name, Where's Andy, was taking on new meaning.
All right, time out. Sorry, I've got to cut it again. I realized that in this sequence, I did not get so much as one frame of Muriel. And she had a great idea. She decided that we could recreate the scene. And here to help, overly anxiously I might add, is none other than Jeff Coffin.
Cue the waves.
Hey Muriel, here comes the wind.
Okay.
Wasn't she a good sport?
A day in the life of a musician, you know.
I thought you did a good job.
Thank you, thank you.
All right, back to the episode.
By late afternoon, the wind had laid down just enough to allow the seas to soften a little also.
So this guy does not answer on 13 or 16. He must be pretty confident that there's no collision course here.
You'd think that with the ocean so large and boats so relatively small that the odds of two colliding would be tiny, but the ocean has become a busy place.
At some point in the night, I was able to get the self-steering working, and then I could relax, lay back, and watch the stars. You wouldn't think that the watch that begins in the middle of the night is the most fought over one, but it is, because it includes the sunrise.
Good morning, Captain.
The all-night helmsman. Glad to see the sunrise and the light. It's a dark day. Although
although the stars were out quite a bit. How about really good shooting stars, too?
As we closed with Cape Cod, we were greeted by a number of shearwaters. Shearwaters are pelagic, spending their entire lives at sea and only coming ashore to breed.
We initially anchored behind the end of Long Point, which gave us some protection from the wind, but the forecast showed it was going to back and get stronger. And with a 2-mile fetch, that would probably mean that we'd have some uncomfortable waves during the night. So we decided to move to the eastern side and avoid this.
The next morning, this made for an easy run to the Cape Cod Canal with the wind at our back.
It was a really wet, sloppy day, and we didn't feel much sorry. But we made the best of it, and we're quite happy to finally reach calm water.
So we're back in protected waters, and order has been restored after 2 kind of ugly, bouncy, rainy, gray, challenging, tiring days.
We're a little ragged to show for it.
Speak for yourself.
Oh.
So Ralph is steering, and the seas are flat. It's not raining.
Yes, Where's Andy got away once again in the frothy waters. This is the second time. This time I tried to get it with the hook and ended up falling flat on my bum on the deck.
Big news, we're going to meet with David Eisenberg. He's going to provide dinner and a shower.
A shower. This is really big news.
I think this might be my first shower since we left. I mean, we've been
Real
swimming.
shower, yes.
And,
I mean, he's fine, obviously. It's been a great trip so far.
yeah.
Yeah, there's something special that's happened every day. Christened it a sailing adventure. And part of that is, the days like the last couple of days that were blustery with waves breaking over the deck and, buckets full of water coming in. Something looked like a movie.
She's on her 3rd pair of pants just today.
Yeah, this is the salt water soaking through.
You need some proper rain gear, honey.
Yes, rain gear, I think. And somehow it doesn't seem so bad when you think of it as an adventure rather than a bad hit at sea.
Well, it must come as no surprise that Jeff Coffin is our musical guest this episode. And Muriel, I think it's a good idea that you did your Monday night show before Jeff threw all this water on you.
Yes, I'm a little washed out now. A lot of people say, boy, it must be a dream to play with Dave Matthews.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. How did that come about? How did you end up starting to play with Dave Matthews?
Well, I met them through the Flecktones originally, and when I was with Bela, because I was with Bela for 14 years, and then in 2008, Leroy Moore had a really bad ATV wreck, and I got called early July. I said, well, when do they need me? And he said, right away. And I said, what's right away? And he said, the next gig's tomorrow in Charlotte. and here was the thing. I was in New York. I was driving from New York to Massachusetts, and all my gear was in Nashville, and the gig was in Charlotte. So I had to triangulate things in a very particular way to make it work, and which we did, And Roy passed in August of that year from injuries, complications from his injuries, and it was tragic. And at the end of the year, we talked about it, and they asked me to stay on, and I had talked with Bela, and he said, they're going to offer you the gig, man. He says, you got to take it. He says, it's a once in a lifetime.
Yes, Jeff. That's the way I'd always envisioned that improv part. It's just like you played it, you know?
That's what I like to hear.
Well, you played some great stuff on my Nightlight Daylight CD.
Oh, what a beautiful CD that is, too.
Oh, thank you. You just played some
Yeah.
wonderful things. And you had a big part in my Acoustic Chef. And
Yes. Yeah.
Because introducing me to the Tuvan Throat Singers, Alash. So, actually, I don't know if you know this, that I just put images of your kitchen up on my YouTube page.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Anybody wondering what my kitchen looks like? It's
go.
on Muriel's YouTube page.
So I just posted the Tuvan Horsemen. So if you go to my YouTube page, or just probably just go to YouTube, Tuvan Horsemen,
Yeah.
then you'll see us making the lamb dumplings that the guys taught me
Oh,
how to
God,
make
those were
that
so
are in
good.
here. Oh, man,
my
are they good?
God.
Yeah.
Well, thanks, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. And take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. And Muriel, all the love. And it's great to see you. And hey to Brian. And let's do some more collaborations.
You.
Yeah.
For sure.
All right.
All
I'll
right.
talk to you
Thank
soon.
you, Jeff.
Thanks again.
Thanks so much.
Bye-bye.
Jeff
Peace.
Coffin. Bye.
Hey, all, this is Jeff Coffin, and you're watching Acoustic Sailing.
Nicely done.